Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. Let's go ahead and get started. First question. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. Good afternoon and good morning, wherever you're watching. My name is Mahesh Vinayagm. I'm an entrepreneur, technologist, a dad of a lovely 15-year-old and a husband of a lovely wife who made this beautiful background. They decorated themselves. And what do? I am this founder and CEO of a startup called qBotica. It's a fast-growing startup in the field of automation and AI, helping companies adopt automation faster. That's what we do.
Oh, wow. That is great. So you help make things a lot easier.
Exactly. And faster.
Great. Question number 2. What's the best thing about working with a team?
It's all about growing together. I think working with a team, it's like having that friendship, that sense of collective ownership, and doing, making things together and seeing the light of it. I think Isaac Newton once said that if I've seen further, it's about standing on the shoulders of giants. I would say that if I've seen further, it's about my team and us, helping each other to, see further than we could have seen alone. I think that's important. I think it's all about teamwork. It's all about growing together and able to do things beyond what one can accomplish themselves.
That's a great comment. I like that quote from Isaac Newton about standing on the shoulders, because that is so true. Cannot do anything by ourselves without the help of a team.
Exactly.
So it's a great comment. Question number 3. I hear from other leaders of teams that it can be a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell us your thoughts.
Exactly. Tell me about it. This is the most difficult part. I think having the team members engaged and having that sense of purpose, that a common purpose, is going to be the most difficult part. And one of my friends, a really good friend of mine, recently suggested that engagement is all about that sense of timelessness that you would feel when you're doing what you're doing together. I think that's engagement. When you're engaged, you don't see time. All you're worried about is actually getting something together done. So it's important for leaders to understand, to identify actually what is that sense of timelessness is all about. I think that's what I heard from some great leader last week, and that defines everything. I think as long as we have that sense of purpose, sense of ownership, and stay together with a sense of timelessness on certain things, and kind of you keep doing that more. It's important.
I really like that imagery of a sense of timelessness, where you're just there getting stuff done and you're not watching the clock. So I really like it.
Exactly.
I really like that. Question number 4. What other piece of advice do you have for leaders of teams?
I would say that we need to set a great example by explaining why we are doing something. It's not about showing them your talent. And I think some of us are gifted by our talent and natural ability to do things much better than many others. But, what sets apart team is that, like I said, the collective work. And in that sense, hard work, how do you actually, show the effort that you put behind things, so that everybody understands that. And then, explain them, choose transparency over diplomacy. I think a lot of, leaders tend to be politically right and choose this diplomacy over transparency. But that's not the way, it is. Actually, sometimes growth is not a comfortable thing. It is a challenging thing. And I think we will grow when we challenge each other and be transparent and move towards the goal. And we would never associate comfort with growth. Comfort is more with vacation, and it's about fun. But in teams to be successful, I would say that choose transparency, to choose challenging each other over comfort and diplomacy.
It's a great comment about transparency. Question number 5. What other successful leaders of teams would you like to recognize that have had a positive influence in your life?
Excellent. Thank you. I think in my life, my first manager, Rajesh, he's no more, but he set a great example in how he led things up. You know, it's still like I affectionately remember him 23 years since we first met. I think, and then I have a good friend here whom I followed from the UK to here to the US. Lee Barnett, you know, is like he has that sense of democracy in its sense. You know, it's like the way he does things is like he's a very powerful leader. He gets the things done, but he always does it by not forcing others, but just bringing everybody together, like I talked about, growing together. So I think he was amazing in my personal life. And then I had a couple of good friends, Sholi, Indy, Nitin Rakesh. There's all these people that have really influenced me here. Then, generally speaking, world leaders wise, there is a leader in Tamil Nadu called in India called Kamarajar. I read a lot of his books. It's there in my shelf as well. He was a great inspiration for me too, because he didn't study high school and he became the chief minister of a state, and he became a kingmaker of India back in the 70s. When I read through that, it gave me, I think, very early on. My dad is a big fan of him. He read a lot of his books and his stories. Then it gave me that feeling that you don't need to be born with a silver spoon. I think if you put in the right effort, I think he had a tremendous influence on my life growing up, I would say.
Well, thank you so much for recognizing those individuals, because it's always, I enjoy hearing who has influenced the guests that we have on the show. So thank you. Well, last question. Tell us about your first job.
Oh, interestingly, my first job, like right now we're talking about automation. And in automation, one of the key aspect is, drawing that flow chart, right? It's, drawing the design. And my first job back in the 90s, when I was in high school, in college, was drawing those workflows, literally using a stencil. And they will send us discs from America, like the USA. I was in India. They will send us discs, and then we have to load it up and then look up, what they're actually done on paper or on, pictures. So we'd have to draw it on nice Visio diagrams. Sometimes they will ship us big tubes of drawings, and I had to put them into Visio at the time. So it was my first job, and then part of that job involved, recruiting people for computer science to study computer science. So I think that was actually immensely satisfying. I had to go like literally door to door, right? There was no internet, there was no phone calls. Show door to door and explain them that that they could actually take computer science as a course, and I had to explain them and bring them to our institute. So that's my first job. I think I loved it. So there was both design part of it and sales part of it. Yeah, I made good money during college.
Yeah, sounds like it. Happy memories for you then.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's great. Well, Mahesh, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. How can people find you?
Yeah, so people can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. So with my full name, Mahesh Vinayagm, or my company's name, qBotica, you could find us. And, I'm happy to connect with people from all different walks of life and be inspired by each other.
That sounds great. This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, go to teamengagementpodcast.com, and you can download the Engagement Booster Tip Sheet, which will give you ideas on how to boost engagement from hiring all the way to exiting. Again, that's the teamengagementpodcast.com. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.